Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. Today I want to tell you guys all about me being adopted and some things I've never shared about the adoption with you. Let's get started and talk about it. Wednesdays is kind of a day where I like to take a break from frugality, do personal growth, and so I thought I'd share a personal story with you guys today. Some of you have been with me a while, some of you haven't. If you haven't, just to let you guys know, I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I was adopted when I was 3 weeks old. My parents got married in 1960. My mom couldn't have children, and they were blessed to be able to adopt me. They adopted me through the Catholic agency. They didn't have to be Catholic themselves, but if you adopted a baby through the Catholic agency, you had to promise to raise them Catholic. And so my parents promised to raise me Catholic. So I was adopted. Just to share this part of it with you, my parents always were wonderful to me. They treated me with love and compassion, and we had plenty of food to eat. My dad made a good living wage as a truck driver. My mom a stay-at-home mom. I feel like I had a really good childhood. I had plenty of everything that I needed and even wanted. So I had a very good childhood. And my parents were always people that I could go to with my troubles. So my parents were wonderful parents to me. So I'm going to say that first. So, I always was curious though and felt like I was rejected because I was adopted. Actually, my parents didn't want to tell me I was adopted, which I found out this later. But the adoption agency said, you know what, you should tell her that she's adopted. She should know, even though it was a closed adoption. Well, when my parents told me I was 5 years old, and they always told me, you're special, you were chosen, you were loved, or you are loved. And so it always made me feel really special that I was adopted. Even though I felt that, I always felt a little rejection about my other mother, my biological mother. Well, didn't she want me? And I felt kind of that rejection. And I kind of also felt like I never ever fit in. And sometimes I felt that I was treated differently because I was adopted and not blood related. I know this may be difficult maybe to understand, but when you're adopted, you really don't know where you belong and you don't feel like you fit in. And I found out that this is really, really common because I guess when you're born, they call it imprinting. You've got some kind of imprinting with your biological family. And I know you guys have heard this before, and I'm going to show you some or tell you some proof of this, is that you've heard the term nature over nurture. Many times people that are adopted or babies, they will end up being like their biological family even though they were never raised by them. Well, it's interesting because I did know a few things about my biological mother. My biological mother was a nurse. And she loved being a nurse. And I found that out later. And it's interesting, I did end up teaching school, but one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to either be a nurse or a teacher. Now, I didn't end up being a nurse, but I did end up being a teacher. But I always loved taking care of people. Whenever anyone was sick at home, I loved caregiving. And I found out that my mother also loved caregiving. And like I said, I was never raised by her. So I thought that was interesting. Now, fast forward a little bit, okay? And like I said, I never really gave being adopted a lot of thought, but there was always something in the back of my mind where I just didn't totally fit in anywhere. And, that's just how I kind of felt like there was a little hole there. Even though I knew I was very loved and special from my parents, I kind of thought, well, couldn't my biological family? I felt kind of rejected a little bit, if that makes sense. So then what I did is I put in for my DNA through Ancestry.com. I never expected anything from it. I thought, it'll just be kind of fun to see, learn about myself. Well, somebody reached out to me and ended up, and I won't go into detail about how I found all this stuff out, but it ended up that my aunt reached out to me. It's my father's biological father's sister reached out to me, and she thought we were cousins. She didn't realize that her brother basically had, was with a woman when when that wasn't married, and he was married but separated at the time, and had me out of wedlock. So basically, she just did not believe it. Nobody in the family knew about me at all. It's kind of like secrets make you sick. No one knew about me whatsoever. And that was back in the day where, hey, a lot of things were hush hush, right? And so, we talked and everything. She was very, very friendly. And then the other family members kind of became curious about me. But in the end, everybody's living their own life. I'm sure they're all wonderful, great people. Everyone's living their own life. But I'm here, they're in Minnesota. We're not going to really have any kind of relationship. And that's okay. Hey, I don't feel rejected by them because, you know what? They're all living their own life. And they, and I'm here, they're there. And, I'm sure we all wish each other the best. But the thing is I think they almost really didn't believe about me. And I found out that my aunt, there were 8 kids in the family. And there were 3 boys and 5 girls. Well, actually, one of the sisters was a nun, which I thought was interesting. But one of the brothers was my biological father. He was married but separated with 3 kids. And he's the one that him and my biological mother, who was a 23-year-old nurse at the time, she did not know that he was married. She told him about me that, hey, I'm going to have a baby. He did not want anything to do with it. And so she actually did want to keep me, but found as being a single mom in 1965 as a nurse that, she just wanted to give me a better life. And that's kind of what happened. But I do have to tell you, even though I'm really grateful to be adopted, it has been kind of a challenge because I have always felt like, I never fit in anywhere. And I found this out. I thought maybe there was something just wrong with me. I found this out from other people that are adopted because, think about this. I'm not really even though there may be a few qualities I'm not like the parents that raised me. But I may be like my biological family. Now, I guess I could have done research and gone to find my actual biological mother, okay? I know, is she still alive? I guess she'd be in her late 70s right now, early 80s. I don't even know. She was 23 when she had me. I'm 57. So, I guess I could find her. But number one, I'm sure if she's alive, she has her own life going on. I do know that my biological father did pass away. I do have what they would call half siblings, but I'm not at this point in my life reaching out to anybody. Just to let everybody know, I don't have any hard feelings towards anyone at all. Everyone's just living their life with their family. I totally get it. But I just wanted to share about this story about being adopted because sometimes certain feelings and things come up in me that I don't realize where I kind of feel like, oh, I'm being rejected. Oh, they don't want me. And I don't know if that's common and if any of you are adopted where you kind of just feel like you don't belong anywhere. For example, growing up, people would all go together as a family to church, and things like that. Well, our family didn't do that. Actually, we had all these different, religious beliefs, and it's like I didn't really know where I fit in with all that. Plus, I didn't look anything like my family. I really didn't act anything like my family. And I kind of felt like other people treated me differently because I was adopted. And so when you have all that going on, you kind of just feel like you don't know, where you fit in and all of it, if that makes sense. But I do know this. I'm extremely grateful that my mother chose to give me life. I'm extremely grateful that she took good care of herself while she was pregnant with me. I was a very healthy baby. I've overall been a healthy adult, so all that's been a blessing. I did send away for the non-identifying information, and so I do know that she does have my biological mother does have a brother and a sister. I do know that. I'm mostly German. That's pretty much most of what I am. I do know that also. My biological mother I know was Catholic. I know my biological father was German too. Let's see, what else do I know? I do know that my biological mother was a nurse, but she was not close to her mother, and her mother passed away at a younger age. So I know that. Overall, the family was really healthy, except my biological grandmother had asthma. I do know that, had really bad asthma. Now, I haven't had that, so that's a really good thing. And I did find out that my biological grandmother on one side lived to be till 103. So maybe that's good news. So that's kind of all I pretty much know about everything. I haven't gone and done any other done any more deep diving into it, and I don't think that I will, because my life is pretty full. I'm grateful for all my wonderful family and friends. And you know, think about something. If any of you have a good friend, they're like family. And I kind of feel like you guys are my family. So I've got my wonderful husband and daughter who are my family. I've got my good friends who are my family. I've got YouTube and Patreon. You guys are my family. Actually, I know this is crazy. I've been a project manager for so long and scheduling for so long. I feel like my mystery shoppers and the companies are my family. So I feel like, in a way, I'm going to end with saying all of this, that God, and because my biological mom did not feel like she could take care of me and wanted to give me a good life, bless her heart, she was doing the very best that she could. Because of that, she wanted to, do the very best she could for me. And I am surrounded by love and family all around me. They're just not biological. So I'll end with saying that. Let me know what you guys think. Are any of you adopted? Do any of you, if you are, maybe share some of your experiences below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you enjoy this kind of content or frugal content, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell. We would sure love to have you. And if you want even more personal videos, check me out on Patreon. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you for listening. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.